Welcome back, or welcome for the first time. We are picking it up on our Solo RPG stream. So I want to let's just go ahead and get into it. There's not too much to talk about up front. Let's just do a quick recap of sort of what happened last time. Last session was busy. We had a lot of fights. Now, of course, upon touching that mausoleum corpse's magic ring, right before we rested, Leo's soul was shunted into the ring and she passed out, and the psychic vampire awakened. We were able to put that vampire down after it really hurt Ott, and Harold helped the group shuttle Leah's soul back into the ring from her body, and we picked up that ring of mind shield, which I have not attuned to, though we probably would have over the long rest, but I forgot to do it. So yeah, we had the fight with the psychic vampire. That went alright. It went okay. It could have gone way worse, but it also could have gone a little bit better. But we were able to get Leah's soul sort of back into the ring, back out of the ring of mind shielding and back into her body and get her up. Took a long rest in that mausoleum because, of course, nobody was going into the mausoleum because there's a psychic vampire in there. Why would they do that? So that is why nobody else, none of the gnolls, none of the goblins, none of the foreign faction have looted the mausoleum up to that point. So we were able to do that. We took the long rest. We started investigating the death ceremony supply room, the room right next to the sort of mausoleum, and that's when we were sort of interrupted as we were sort of combing through there by two actually separate groups having this sort of encounter, having this fight, and moving through the mausoleum we were just in into the room we were in, and that included, we caught in the middle. We knew both of these factions, surprisingly. The first faction were the tomb robbers we came across in the session before, which we didn't fight. We just kind of had some light conversation with. They were standoffish. We were standoffish because we don't know who those people are, and they're dangerous. Anyways, it seems like they got into a fight with some other people, and we're down to just the tomb robber leader, their leader, and the others dead, fighting some men and one short figure we recognized, Gimbal, who we didn't know when Gimbal was going to show up. Well, last session was when he showed up after we released all his slaves, and was probably not happy to see us. We were expecting that sometime in the future he would probably ambush us, come back to get us at some point. It seems in this case we just kind of accidentally ran into each other while Gimbal was busy doing whatever he's doing in here, because we're pretty sure he was not looking for us. And so we won that fight. Imbar charged down Gimbal and skewered him through the back with the sword as he was trying to get away. The last of Gimbal's men, the last person there, did surrender to us. But before the tomb robber could free themselves, the floor gave way. We found out that as soon as we moved into that burial supply room, we realized that the room was unstable. And then we had a big fight in there, and the ceiling collapsed on us immediately. But the floor held for 3 rounds, and then, of course, on the 4th round, just as we were finishing combat, that's when the floor gives away. And unfortunately, our bandit captain, our tomb robber leader, fell 80 feet to his death. He was already hurt. He was pinned under a big chunk of masonry, stone masonry. But he fell, and we know for certain he confirmed dead. We looked down, we saw his body. That guy's definitely. We lowered the light down. He's definitely dead. So that's sort of where we're picking up. So we're right at the end of the fight. I saved some things so that way we could do the loot. The looting of them, we'll loot these bodies, we'll find out what Gimbal has on him. We'll try to interrogate our survival, try to figure out what the heck they were doing down here, and why they're chasing off the tomb robbers. And then we'll kind of carry on. We're still got quite a bit left in this dungeon. We've been going much slower than I thought we would. We know of 9 rooms so far. So we know of 9 rooms. We're trying to target about 13 rooms, so we're getting there. We're about 70-75% there. So, we're gonna get there. it's just going a little bit slower than I expected. We keep getting into tons and tons of fights as we're walking around, which is not this party's strength, unfortunately. So we've already had to take we've taken just one long rest, but already taken like 2 short rests, I think. So we're gonna hop in and get into that. After I quit the stream, I forgot to roll our recharges, went ahead and did that. So I rolled for the healer's kit. We rolled a 3, so everything was good there. Rations, rolled a 6, everything's good there. Unfortunately, on oil and torches, I did roll a 1, so we are going to reduce that die size. So that's sitting at a 4 now. So that's not great. We are very much underground. So we're going to have to keep an eye out. Maybe we'll come across some adventuring supplies. That'd be nice. Or we'll have to go back to the mule. The mule's quite a bit of ways now. Kind of on the other side. I think we're much closer to sort of the center of the ruined oasis now, and the mule's way over there. So we want to go get that extra supplies we have. We're gonna have to hoof it. We're gonna basically leave the dungeon, which we don't really want to do. We can only get this done while we're in here. All right, but that's what we did. So we got the checked resources. That all went fine, but I didn't do really anything else. So we're gonna grab the Tomb Robber's dagger for Delg. So if we're gonna do that, we got to go down into the collapsed floor. So are we gonna spend the time to do that right now? I think we're gonna roll the bodies up top first. So we're gonna do these guys up here, and we have a bunch of people who should have the adventuring supplies on us. So we're gonna give that 1d4 roll, and we're gonna see if that increases. If we hit that 4, we'll increase it to 6. Say that we were able to sort of scavenge off of them. Alright, so we can't do the Tomb Robber. They're at the bottom. So we're gonna do Gimble's boys. How many boys did Gimble have? Gimble had 5, I think. I really should have kept that. I forgot to do that. I erased it down here and just put monsters again. I screwed up the initiative. I think it was either 4 or 5. It's kind of a capstone thing. I mean, we're kind of crossing the Gimbal stuff off, except for the gas. You know, that stuff might be weird. We don't know what's going on with that yet. Maybe that's why they're out here. But I think we'll just say that we're 5, and then we'll do Gimbal. We'll make it easy. All right, so let's roll on our treasure tables. Got my handy dandy DM's binder. It's got some minor treasure rolls in it, so let's do that. I really need to put this in the document. I'm doing a very similar thing to the Solo RPG, but I'm doing it with a few friends, kind of off and on. And I've put that document. I always get screwed up because in this stream, I don't have that stuff in the document here, but in that game I do. So it gets a little confusing sometimes. All right, so for guide number 1, we got an 11. So some sort of trade good. 18 silver pieces worth of ore. So not much. And I'll just add that to our copper ore nugget. So now we have a couple of copper ore nuggets that have been found. So interesting. Could lead to something in the future. Maybe we'll come across some sort of mining or something. Alright, so that's 1 down. Number 2. Straight up currency. Nothing. It's like a couple copper pieces. That's nothing. It's not even really worth talking about. Yeah, sometimes the treasure comes in real low using this system, which I'm okay with. It makes the game a little bit more scrappy, which I don't mind. Then not everybody's just laden down with tons and tons of very expensive stuff. Really, their gear is usually the most expensive thing on them, rather than them carrying around the 1,000 platinum on them. Or something like that. Alright, number 3. Alright, that's gonna be Oh, guys. I gotta roll for 1... I just talked about how we don't have any currency. I've got to roll a D100 platinum pieces because I rolled so well. We're about to run into a lot of money. Wow, 78 platinum. That's 780 gold. Whoa, and that's not Gimbal? This is what a Gimbal's meant? That guy must have been carrying the purse for Gimbal. Must have been carrying Gimbal's purse. So we went from not really having a lot of money to now we are thoroughly flushed. That's how these treasure tables go if you're going to roll them randomly. Sometimes, most of the time, it's not very much money or anything that's worth a whole lot. But sometimes, oof, it's worth a whole lot. Ooh, and some bucket contents. All right. 6 and 2. We found ourselves a contract. All right, so we know we got a contract in here. I'm just going to bold it so we don't forget. Because that's going to be interesting. I'm rolling the wrong thing. we need a D20 roll. 12. What is 12? I believe that is also trade goods. It is indeed. Roll low that time. So D10 of silver pieces. Alright, so not worth a whole lot. 8 silver worth of tools. So that's got to be like nails or something like that. It can't be anything of particular use. So we've got quite a few things, but remember that those things are sort of at their market price, so I'm probably not going to get that amount of money back from them. Let's roll the 1d4 just to see if we get any of that oil and torches back. We do not. Okay. So let's update here. Up here. Alright, so we did Gimble's Boys. Our 1d4 for oils and torches. We did not get that resupply. Dang. That's alright. So we've got the tomb robber. He's down at the bottom, and we've got Gimble, and we're going to figure out about that contract. So let's do the contract first. So we pick up the piece of paper, recognize it's a... Actually, do we recognize the contract? I don't know. Gimble's a super secretive person. So maybe this is the first time for our first Oracle question. Let's make an investigation check on the page. So Lee will do it. She'll have help. There's other people standing around looking at her. Not that it's going to be helpful. Man, that's so low. Yeah, I don't think she got a 15 rolling a 4. There's no way she has a plus 11 to investigation. I'm not gonna look. I just knew she doesn't have that as a third or fourth level wizard. No, she doesn't even have a maxed out int yet. So of course she doesn't make that. All right. So we failed our sort of investigation of it. So now, why is that? Is it written in a different language? One we don't know? No, that's not that. Is it encoded in some way? No, it's not that. So it's not something we could take back to Omer to have him maybe try to crack. Is it like invisible ink or something like that? Yes, okay. Is that mundane in nature? Yes, okay. Alright, so we have something that we're pretty sure is a contract, but... So I'm going to actually step that back. So it's not going to be a contract. We're going to be like, we don't know what it is. So, Gimble's blank page. We're going to need somebody, I think, it's either got like a forger's kit or... maybe calligrapher's kit, which I don't think that Leah has. We need somebody who has one of those things. And we don't have anybody in the party right now. Omer, maybe. Omer might have one of those. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I have a feeling he might have calligraphy, or somebody else back at Akari's estate might have it. If Akari doesn't himself. Or even Reeve Relendar. If we decide to go... Well, we're going to have to go back there. Alright, so that's that. So let's roll for Gimble. How many prizes sound right for Gimble? Gimble's going to have quite a bit of stuff on him. So I'm going to roll all these with advantage, because there's more likelihood that Gimble's going to have some sort of like magic item on him or something like that. So I'm going to make the type rolls with advantage. So let's say he's got like 2d4 packages on him. That seems right to me. Ooh, oh, wow. Okay, we rolled really well, so he's going to have 7 things on him. Alright, so he's going to have 7 things on him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Wow. And all of these are going to be with advantage. Nice. Alright. 2. Woohoo! We're really making the best use of that advantage so far with a 2 and a 7 on the die. Oy. Okay. Well, that's gonna be pocket contents. What do we find in his pocket? We're just sticking around in his pocket. We are going to find some sort of medicine. Maybe Gimbal was sick. That's something interesting. That's something we hadn't really come across. We haven't spent a ton of time with Gimbal. But it has been traipsing through the jungle, so who knows, maybe he has like a malaria kind of thing. Dengue fever kind of thing. West Nile, maybe this has something to do with gas. Who knows? I don't even know if that's worth exploring at this point. And I'm going to leave this separate for right now, and then we can always go back and add it to the other treasure tables, or I'll do it after. I'll probably just do it afterwards. Come on, big money, no whammies. 14 trade goods. 36 copper of... Not that it really matters. Narcotics. Okay, so probably like tobacco or something on it. Alright, well... I mean, I'm not to say that I feel let down, because we have come across already quite a huge purse with that platinum. We have a lot of money. I mean, that just like... That's like our current money times 8. We just made a lot of money. And I just rolled a natural 20, which means that we have a magic item. So we don't get advantage on the magic item rolls. That's normal, I think. I rolled a 10, so it's a common item. And I'm going to roll a d10 to tell me what kind. So a common magic item with charges. I don't know what that's going to be. And I guess we can figure it out. Let's finish rolling stuff and then we can go look at it. I just rolled another magic item. Alright. Come on. Roll high, roll high. 16's pretty high. Alright, so it's an uncommon magic item. And it should have been D10, but I can change what that's going to be. So it's not a permanent because I have to roll a 19 or a 20. It's that close to having a permanent one. Alright, so we have an uncommon. And an uncommon magic item with charges is almost guaranteed to be probably a wand of some type, which he apparently did not use during the fight. Not that he did a ton in the fight anyways. Alright, well, that's working out for us. Let's keep going. 17 currency. Ooh, 12 silver pieces. Dog has the big money. Just put it down there since that's what we're looking at. And let's keep going. 18 more currency. 10 gold. So clearly there was a purse and then there was like a little stash also probably sewn into like in a sock or sewn into a sleeve or something like that, hidden. Alright, one more roll. Come on, big money. 19 plus. Get another 19 plus, get another magic item. Finally, this is where all the crits have been hiding. All those natural 20s to make up for all those terrible rolls I've been having through this dungeon adventure. But that's okay because we're going to get another magic item. Common. Common. Sorry. Again, I should have made that roll with the 10, so I'm going to redo that. Because it's just easier on the math. One, that's markedly worse, but that's okay. It's a single-use thing. It's common single-use, so it is probably a potion. Let's just ask the question. Is it a potion? Probably. As far as we know, Gimbal's not a spellcaster, so it's probably not a scroll. Actually, I think that's... Do I think it's probably or extremely likely? I think extremely likely, actually. Alright. Guess I'm wrong. Is it a scroll? +3? Nope. Okay, so it's some sort of... So it has to pretty much be a common single-use wondrous item. Now we do actually have somebody trained with medicine. So I do want to find out, I think he just kind of pulls out the medicine. He takes a look at it and then kind of like hands it over to Delk and be like, hey, do you know, what can you tell me about this this medicine? Because we want to figure out whether Gimble's sick or had some sort of affliction, or why he's walking around with this medicine. Normally we wouldn't care, but Gimble's was a recurring NPC, so it'd be helpful to know if he's still, his legacy is still tied to something else that's going on. So Delg has that. He does have expertise in medicine, which is good. It only gives him a +5 to the roll, but is anybody else trained in medicine? I don't think so. No. So nobody can really assist with this because he's really the only person who knows anything about it. What is this? Can you identify this medicine? All right, well that's 15. That gives us a good shot hitting the DC. Actually, there's a room DC for this. I don't think it matters. The DC for the room, I think, is quite high. This is similarly also going to be high. I believe this was a 21. So we did fail. Even the old room DC, I think, was an 18 or a 19. I mean, we can just go look. But I'm pretty sure that's where it was. The ceremony. Yeah, oh, it was DC 20. So it was only one difference. But, yep. Well, that didn't work out for us. So, Del kind of takes a look at it, and it's like, I've never come across anything like this before. Leah wonders, is it worth Leah taking the time to ritual cast Detect Magic? Maybe there's something magical with it. What I can say is that we can ask Carol real quick. So Leah pulls out her book and is like, well, we could always ask Carol. And takes out her magic quill and begins sort of writing in it. And making like sort of a, I don't know how it works, either a quick sketch or she actually like lays some of the medicine on the pages and like closes the book and kind of feels the book vibrating. She asks it to Harold to be like, hey, do you know what this is? We found this on somebody we think is maybe, that we know is connected with the ghast. We don't know if this has anything to do with the ghast or not. What does Harold say? Does he know anything about this? He does. Let me ask. Harold can identify what the medicine is, which is good. He's a librarian. He's was a very smart person. I don't know. He's in a book now. His soul's trapped in a book, as far as we know. So you can determine whether that is or was. So we ask him that. So he does seem to know something. And so kind of open it back up, and there's of course the lines write themselves across the page as it's sort of his stream of conscious. He can't really filter the thoughts really well, so it's not him speaking, it's his thoughts. So we're going through and kind of parsing, Lee's trying to parse through it, read it, parse through it, get to the important things. Is this something we should be concerned about? Is this something our players should be concerned about? I don't think that's likely. I think it's probably going to be like allergy medicine or cold medicine or some random salve or something like that. I don't think that this is anything of some sort of like chronic disease, but I mean, who knows? He could be turning into the undead because we have that whole thing in Carjunt, and maybe that's related to the ghasts and the dragons needing the dragon, and so there's the possibility is what I'm saying. So let's find out if the possibility is a reality. I don't think that's the case, though. I almost want to say extremely not the case. I think it's extremely unlikely that it's a worrisome medicine, so -5. Okay, good. Something else for us to worry about. Great, that's great. That's great, fantastic, I love that. Okay, related to faction or NPC we already know, I think that's extremely likely, so +5. No. It's a new faction or NPC. Is it a faction? Let's ask that. I don't think that's... No. Yeah, no. Alright, so it's related to some NPC. And it's a new NPC. So it's not a faction or NPC that we have. Okay, well, it's a new NPC, but is it a new NPC from an existing faction, I guess is a good question. Okay, yes. Alright. So we'll just pick somebody from our faction. Well, because we asked faction beforehand and the answer was no. Okay, so copy that, split it out. We're going to be a new thing, and it's apparently not the Confederacy of Goblins, Orcs, and Gnolls with foreign backing. Apparently something new. From this location, unfortunately we just don't have anything to go off of. With unidentified medicine. So we're going to need somebody else to kind of help with that. And I've got some magic items to look at. So let's go with our common. So we need a common one. So we need a common magic item with charges. Cleansing stone. No. I think the Horn of Silent Alarm, though technically we have, or no, we sold it, didn't we? We sold our old Horn of Silent Alarm, but it is one of the few common items with charges. Wand of Pyrotechnics, maybe. Yeah, let's just say it's a Wand of Pyrotechnics. Why not? Because that makes more sense than the Wand of Scowls or Smiles for him to have. And one common single-use item. That, I want to get the Featherfall token. That seems like the one that's like, oh yeah, somebody would probably have that. And then we have an uncommon magic item with charges. I wanted to detect magic. It'd be super cool to have another... Wand of Magic Missiles. Have two Wand of Magic Missiles would be extremely helpful for us. How many wands do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5. So we'll roll a d6. Figure out what kind it is. Why not? 5. Alright, it's whatever's last on the list. Which is Wand of Web, which is actually, you know, Web's actually a pretty cool spell in 5th edition. It doesn't get used a lot. Web, like a lot of old school D&D spells, has really specific we're playing a high level game, and I had a scroll of Web, I think. And I stopped like half an encounter from happening by saw a bunch of creatures charging down the hallway at us and just webbing up the hallway. And they were not humanoid, so they didn't have blades to cut through it. So it actually made the combat kind of trivial, because we ended up doing half the combat and then finishing up the other half combat. So Wand of Web is very useful, especially for low-level adventuring. One of the first things we got to do is we've made a bunch of noise. I'm gonna leave the interrogation for the end, and let's just kind of hop around. So I want to finish up all the treasure stuff, get all the tomb robber stuff done. Yeah, I mean, kind of just a slow session. Sorry, guys. It's just a little bookkeepy. It's figuring out stuff. Alright, so we did make a bunch of noise, and we looked for stuff, so we do need to do a random encounter check at this point. Let's hope we roll low. Or, technically, hope we roll high. Okay, good. In fact, we should probably do 2, because we should have done one after the room collapsed and stuff. Okay. And now, so we're good there. Now let's dive down. I think we are going to go see the tomb robber, because we do know that they are the leader. So we're going to go down. So do we want to go stake the vampire body before we're moving on? It is a psychic vampire. It's a little bit different. I don't see why we don't do that. I don't think it'll take us much time. A question, I guess, is do we have... I think most of those guards had spears, so we should be flush for spears. So that should give us a good stake. So I think we let... who do we let take care of that? That seems like an Imbar job. So we'll let Imbar take care of it. So she snaps a a spear over her knee, over her armored knee, and then sort of like takes out a knife and starts sharpening the end of it, and then goes off to stake a vampire. And the rest of us are going to figure out a way to secure our rope. I don't think. I mean, I don't think we have a climber's kit with us. Is the thing. We have plenty. We certainly have the rope to do it, but I don't think anybody has a climber's kit. So it's really going to be up to, can we find a way to secure the rope up here at the top, since we have like a collapsed room? I think so. I think that that's extremely likely that we're going to find a hard point we can actually attach to, but it's worth rolling for, because we don't know. So +5. Good. We needed the +5. That gets us to 12. So yes, there is a hard point. There's sort of a part of a stone that we can like loop it around, or heavy sort of riveted in iron sconce, torch sconce, or something like that that we can attach it to. But we are able to do that, and we have plenty enough rope. 80 feet down is a long ways, but we have 4 people's ropes, so we should be good. We are going to need to splice those ropes together, though. So we do that. All that takes some time. So, by the way, we make the descent, so we're going to have to roll for another. Okay. So where are we going to find our adventurers? They have not gone down the pit yet. I did not say they have gone down the pit. So they're not in the pit yet. So while we're down there, somebody's going to show up. So question, is this happening? Excuse me. Is this happening? Is this encounter going to happen basically while Imbar is off staking the vampire? That's a very small window because I don't think that takes a lot of time. So I think that that's pretty unlikely. -3. Alright. Doesn't matter. It is while Imbar's in there. So Imbar is separated from the group. As far as we know, this is a dead end, but we have not explored the bottom. So the question is does something come? Which direction is it coming from? So we'll go low. It's coming from Imbar's direction. High. We're gonna say that it's coming from up out of the collapsed room area below. I don't. Well. Because we have not explored that yet, I'm going to say -3 to this roll. Doesn't matter. Stuff coming out of the bottom. Alright. It could be something of one of our factions, so let's roll that. We rolled a 3, which I think is goblins. So we're going to see something goblin related. Kind of scurrying up out of the debris in the bottom. And that's where they're going to take us. But we did say that we are not down there. And they are down there. So they are at the bottom. So it's like as we're throwing the rope down and stuff, like these goblins come out. But we have the height advantage. Oh no, sorry. They're coming from Imbar's side. No, they are. They're coming out of the pit. I just got my wires crossed. They are coming out of the pit. Yes. Sorry, I've had it flop for the Imbar. Never mind. We're on the same path now. Everybody knows what we're doing now, including me, and that's important. All right, so these goblins swarm out. Let's get some goblins. All right, so we have technically 4. We're level 3, right? No, we're level 4. I keep forgetting we're level 4. We're not level 3. All right, so we have 4 level 4 characters. I like this. So it's in a Hobgoblin Iron Shadow. So we busted in, some hobgoblins are out. So that can be up to 5 hobgoblins, so we'll say 1d4 plus 1 hobgoblins. Hobgoblins are bad news. They're tough fighters. Low money. Now you roll high dice? Now you roll high? when I'm checking to see how many enemies there are? Okay, so there's an Iron Shadow and 4 hobgoblins. We'll split the difference. We'll just say they have a +2 to Dex, and we'll give them 12 for their initiative. So, alright, here comes the combat. Imbar is off in the other room, down the hallway. We're going to have to call for her and she's gonna have to come running. We'll figure out how long that takes. I'm thinking like 1d3 rounds of her dashing. And she has to finish what she's doing and then run back down the hallway. Alright, so they are going on 12. Now the nice thing is that that Iron Shadow is probably at a distinct disadvantage, because if I remember correctly, the Iron Shadow, it's like their martial arts kind of hobgoblin. So we're 80 feet up, so we are going to probably pepper them with a whole bunch of range stuff. And they're probably going to give us advantage because we have such a marked, like, height advantage, 80 feet up. Leah. Good. Ott. Not as good. Imbar. Good. Delg. Not as good. Who has higher, Leah or Imbar? I'm thinking Leah. They have exactly the same. I'm gonna give Leah the first go because she's the closest to the action. So hobgoblins burst out of the stuff below after we're dropping the rope over the edge and it hits hitting the ground, and we're securing the rope. And as we do, a bunch of hobgoblins flush out. I guess we should roll for. We should technically roll for perception. Oracle question: are they being stealthy, or were they stealthing up on us? No. Okay, so the hobgoblins didn't know what's going on. They probably saw the dead body down there and went to investigate it. And we're gonna get the jump on. Do they notice us? Now we're not trying to be stealthy, but we are up. But we also have the rope that's down there. I'll just ask: do we get the surprise round? I don't think so. -3. No, we don't get the surprise round. So everybody kind of walks in. They're looking at that. The rope hits the ground. They turn around, look up. We look down at them. It goes into initiative. Leah's right there. Leah, what are you going to do, girl? She's right there at the edge. I think she just picks somebody and firebolts them. It's probably whoever seems like they have the least armor on, which unfortunately I think is probably going to be the Iron Shadow. The Iron Shadow, what are they wearing? What is their armor? They don't have anything on, right? Because they're the monk variant. Alright, so they don't have anything, so she's gonna fire at them, but they do, I think they have a lowered AC. They do, alright. So she is going to fire down at them with a nice little firebolt. Hey, good morning, how are you doing? 19 plus some, that's definitely going to hit. D10 fire damage. 9 points of fire damage. Nice, Leah. Right on it. Right on it. Ooh, don't give him extra hit points. Take hit points away from the monsters, please. I'm being a cruel DM to myself. Imbar's going to run. Now, we said Imbar... she's off in the mausoleum room staking the psychic vampire to make sure. We don't know much about psychic vampires. We did not roll well on that on that sort of roll. So she's going to stake that. I think it's going to take her 1d3 turns to get back. Okay. It's going to take her 3 turns. So Leah calls out, there's fire, there's spells that erupt. It's going to be very obvious that there's a conflict happening. There's a bunch of echoing down the hallway. Down this sort of like carved stone hallway, so there's no way that she doesn't hear it. So she finishes her staking duties and she will start making her way back. So that's one round of her returning. It's the monster's turn. Okay, can this guy do anything from down here? So it doesn't say this. He is sort of kind of like a monk though. So I'm going to ask this, does he have basically a climb speed? Is what I'm going to ask. I think that's a good thing. Does he have basically a climb speed? No. Alright, so he doesn't have a climb speed. So if he wanted to dash up and start climbing up, even if he used a dash action to get it up, that would get him... He has 40 to 80, so back down to 40. So he'd make it 40 feet up. That's half the way up. Which he really wants to use that shadow jaunt, that teleport, but it's only 30 feet, and that won't get him to the top. That'll put him in pretty much melee distance at an extreme disadvantage. So he's not going to do that, for sure. So I think he's going to... Oh, his cantrip... His spells suck. Of course. Of course they do. Minor Illusion, Prestidigitation, True Strike, Charm Person, Disguise Self, Expeditious Retreat, Silent Image. That's okay. He will use Minor Illusion, and he's going to throw up his hands and throw a Minor Illusion up, and he's just going to give them concealment, as much concealment as he can. It's just a made-up illusion. It's just literally there to block sight. And he is going to throw himself onto the wall and start climbing up. So he gets up 20 feet. And they're obscure, so that's going to take away the advantage. Basically, it takes away the advantage that we had firing down on them. Because we're going to have to fire through the illusion. Hobgoblins, look up and see a bunch of people, which is not great, because I'm pretty sure they have longbows. Yay! And martial advantage. That's not going to help them here. Oh, it's going to be real bad if the Iron Shadow gets up there, though. Ooh, they're going to get that martial advantage, because it's any weapon attack. It doesn't have to be melee, so if they sit down there and shoot their longbows, they're going to pincushion somebody. They're going to take shots. Shot. Alright, we have 3 people up there that they can see. So we'll just, everybody will take one. Who's going to take the extra? I guess we'll just figure out who's not going to get hit. Leah, Ott, or Delg. Leah, okay. So there's going to be 1 against Leah, 2 against Ott, 2 against Delg. So the first against Leah, I am still going to give them the disadvantage, though. They're still firing up, and now they're firing through their own minor illusion. So they still have disadvantage to attack. I don't think that that's going to hit. That does not hit Leah. The second one against Ott. Gonna miss. And against Delg. Natural 1. Totally misses. That one is going to hit Delg. Because Delg's armor class is 12? 11. He has like a padded jerkin on. That's all he has on. Or technically he has leather armor on. So he does not have disadvantage on stealth. But he does get hit. And that's a D8 plus some damage, so ouch. He is going to take 6 points of damage. Alright, I forgot to heal Del. We did not take a short rest. He can't take another shot. He's got to get out of here. Alright. Oh, one of these guys definitely had a dagger on them. That dagger is no longer lost. He picked up another dagger. They for sure had those on them. Okay, well, that's their go. So now it goes down to, I think Del is next, correct? No, Ott's next. Ott is going to pull out her own bow and take a shot at, I guess, hobgoblins. So this will, oh, she also doesn't have any hit points. We really need to rest, and she's out. I really probably should have done the healing potion. Oh well. So this fight gonna go real weird. Can go real sideways real quick. One of those guys is already climbing on the rope. I was gonna say she could pull up the rope, but one of the guys is already climbing on the rope. The Iron Shadow is already on it, so she's not gonna be able to pull that up. So she is going to, I guess she's gonna take a couple of attacks. And then she's going to move away from the edge. So this, she has to fire through that, so she doesn't get the advantage from the height. But she is going to pick one target and shoot twice. Unless that first one gets it. Neither of those are going to hit. They have an 16 AC. Because they can't use their shield. 16, does she hit? Does she have a +7? She's not. Alright, she fires, isn't able to hit, and she... So she moves back and she moves away from the edge. It is Delg's turn. Delg will take a sling at one of them, and then, or actually, Delg is going to physician heal thyself. He is going to use his own healer kit to get back some. He has 5 hit dice. This is important. It's actually not target's level. It's max hit die. 4 plus 5, so 9. So d6 plus 9, and he will heal himself. He'll bandage himself up. Alright, so 11 hit points. It's better than nothing. So he'll go up to 16. But he cannot heal himself again until they rest. And, oh man, nobody has any hit points. Leah has the most. It's concerning. The wizard has the most amount of hit points in the party. That's not good. That's not good. Alright, this is we should have taken our rest. That was very stupid of me. Okay. Doug's gonna do that, and he's gonna move back. It could always be could cut the rope. I don't think we're gonna do that at that point. So it's gonna be Leah's turn. Leah's up at the top. Leah can kind of see them. No, we're just using the straight 5e rules right now, because that's what we started with. So we got the 2014 D&D 5e rules. We are not using the new rules yet. This is all old, or legacy, or whatever you want to call it. All right, it's up at the top. Dang, Leah, what are you gonna do? Well, I was gonna say she could use the web wand that we just picked up, but this chasm's gonna be way too big for a web wand. And besides, they'll be able to get through it. They have blades and fire. That won't stop them for very long. Oh, Leah. She does have in her actual repertoire. She does actually have magic missile. And we're pretty light on spells. We're gonna have to have some downtime. We are going to have to take some sort of rest. So she's going to do a 2nd level magic missile. And we have fought hobgoblins. I think she has a pretty good estimation of their life. Actually, she's just gonna pump them all into the Iron Shadow. So she will do I believe that's 3 darts, then 2nd level, so it's 4 darts. 44 plus 4. Into the lead guy trying to come up the rope. Okay, 12 points of damage. So he's hurt a lot. He's going to have to make a constitution. I'm going to say, actually, it's going to be a strength saving throw. Same way constitution saving, like, concentration check rules. He needs to roll, or half the damage, so 10. He needs to roll a 10 strength saving throw to keep his hold on the rope. Because he just got blasted with a bunch of 4s. He meets it. Exactly. Slips a little bit on the rope. You know, burns the hands a little bit. But is able to hang on and twists around on the rope and gets his foot sort of back up on and starts to pull himself back up the cliffside. I guess not a cliff. It's a chasm, I guess, at this point. A pit? Pit. It's pit. From this collapsed room. So he will continue climbing. And then Leah will also move away from the edge. Imbar runs back. So, one more. Okay, monsters go. He's going to full action climb. He's got a speed of 40. So he's going to use his dash action. That'll get him up to 60. So very close to the top now. Hobgoblins cannot see anybody. What do they do if they can't see anybody? Do they take cover? Yes. Okay. Not only do they take cover, they decide they're going to hide. And we'll just kind of take whatever their average height would be. They're, I think, pretty good at this. Oh, I guess they don't have any skills. The normal hobgoblin doesn't have any skills. Okay, so they all hide, but they only have a DC 12. But they are going to be in cover. They are going to be in cover. All right, so they're going to be, but they are not. More importantly, they are not preparing to take shots. They're not ready to actions to take shots for whenever somebody moves close to the edge, which is important for us. Okay, Ott has moved away. Unfortunately, Ott cannot do anything. They don't know that they won't get shot if they move towards the edge, so instead she's going to find herself some cover, which I don't think is large. So she finds another piece of like rubble, one of the rubbles that's sort of like on the sort of fringe of where this stuff has fallen down, probably close to where they have secured the rope. And she's going to try to duck down. Actually, I'll just ask, can she find any cover? I'll just make it 50-50 because the room fully collapsed in on itself. All right, so she can't find any cover, but she is going to prep shot. So, as soon as she's going to prepare an attack action. Yeah. You can't do this as a reaction. You only get the one shot, right? You can't do a full attack action, I don't think. I don't believe you can. So she's going to, she's going on Overwatch is essentially what she's doing. Delg can attempt to heal somebody. Lee is the only person he can attempt to heal. Thing is, she's only 9 hit points down, which he'll pretty much give her. He pretty much has to roll a 1. So I think we're going to see if maybe she takes one more shot. So that's what Delg's going to do. He's going to go on Overwatch 2 then. If there's nothing else for him to do, he's also going on Overwatch. So he loads another Sling Stone for when that first person comes up, and then we're just, I guess, going to just give him hell. We'll give her. She'll prepare a firebolt. Imbar is just coming onto the scene, just like finishes her run, like kind of digging in her heels to come to a stop. She kind of skids on the flagstones as she enters the end of the hallway and where the room has collapsed in on itself and down 80 feet, and meets up with everybody. It's like, what are we doing? They're like, hobgoblins. Oh, great. But she doesn't. That was her full action. She can't do anything yet. But she is away from the edge. I don't think she went any closer, because she couldn't do anything. Alright, monsters. It's going to take... it will not take the full thing, so he will get up to the top with just his straight movement. And then he's probably going to do something, but more importantly, there's a bunch of Overwatch stuff that happens. So we'll just go down in order to see whose reactions go off first. That's going to be Ott's first, so she's going to take a shot with her longbow. That will certainly hit. D8, I believe she has +2. +3. So, yeah, that's 11 points of damage. It just straight up kills the guy. So he gets up to the top, pulls himself up, and as he's sort of like trying to mantle onto the top, not just pop, just boom right through the eye, and then he just tumbles off, slinks back over the edge and falls 80 feet, and there's a heavy thud of where they hit the ground. The hobgoblins are all hiding, so I was gonna check to see if it falls on one of them, but they've all taken up positions, so they're good. Alright, so that was Ott's Overwatch. So nobody else's Overwatch goes off yet. Alright, decision time. They watch their leader make it up to the top and then just immediately fall 80 feet and go squish on the floor. I'm going to make them make a morale roll. I think they have advantage, which is disadvantage in this case, to stay in the fight, but they are well trained too. What is their charisma? Doesn't matter for the Iron Shadow. The Iron Shadow is dead. They don't really have anything useful on them. Anyways. This is a charisma. So 9. We're trying to roll a 9 or under. And we're giving ourselves disadvantage, and there's 5 of us. That's a fail. Pass. 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 Alright, so most of them stay strong. That makes sense. They're hobgoblins. They have a lot of staying power. They have the most staying power out of any of them. But one of them does freaking run. This is a Hail Mary just to see, like, hey, when we knock that guy over, is there any chance that any of us can take our prepared shots as one of them kind of flushes out of cover and makes a run for it? I think that's extremely unlikely, but let's roll it. No. We have no visuals on them. But we do hear them moving around. So we have no idea how many are down there at this point. But we have heard them move around. What are the rest of, so we've got 4 more. Are any of these guys going to attempt to climb up? Or are we in a standoff moment? Our characters are hurt, so they don't really want to press their advantage. And hobgoblins are smart and they're very war-minded. They're going to realize that, like, if they're not pushing their advantage of height and their numbers and taking out their leader, then something's wrong with them. So the question is they didn't immediately come and start raining down death on them. They actually moved away from the edge. Are they going to pursue? I don't know. I think it's a 50-50. Are they going to attempt to pursue at this point? Yes. Okay. So one of them jumps on the rope and starts climbing up. They'll take their dash action. How many squares did it take them to get there? We'll just do a d4. 3 squares. Okay. So that would be, they have 30, so 60, 55, 50, 45. So they make it up 20. So one of them jumps up. They can only do it one at a time, and the other 3 are going to be covering. So they are going to take their overwatch at this point. So now we know that they are covering one of the guys going up. So if anybody comes to the edge to try to deal with them, they're going to get shot. Alright, that moves us down to Odd. So Odd has moved away from the edge, but she does see these guys are going off of Overwatch now. Because that time has passed. And nobody's come up. So it is Odd. Odd does see the rope has slackened, then it tenses up again as another weight gets pulled on it, and you hear the creak of the rope. It's a twist and pulls that weight on it, stretches out the fibers. So another person, you hear footsteps on the wall. Everything's very echoey in here still. And remember, there's no dust because actually the prestidigitation spells finally went kaput. So actually there's plenty of dust. What is she going to do? I think she's also... I don't see any reason not to just... From their difficult position to just prepared shot. I think everybody just goes on Overwatch. Now, the hobgoblins are smart. You only get to do this once to them. They're not going to keep filing up one by one. Do that. Actually, that's a good question. Since they didn't press the advantage, and we did say that they were going to climb up, is everybody climbing up? Question mark? How many of the 4 are going up? 2. Alright, so there's actually a second one who's climbing up. Because the rope doesn't actually make it any faster to climb, it just makes it easier if you have to make an athletics check, which is kind of weird. But I am not going to make athletics checks in this moment because it's not that important to climbing. Actually, this person will have to make an athletics check. Why not? And actually, the DC is really hard since they're not using the rope. Yeah, okay. So they fail. So this one tries to grow up and gets about like 5 or 6 feet up and then kind of drops back down. And then I think moves, if that's the case, then that's what they try to do with their movement. Then they move back into cover and do their Overwatch. That's all one turn then. All right. At this point, it's just a waiting game. So we're gonna just go till this guy gets up to the top. Actually, yeah. I was gonna say he could do a prepared action once he gets up, but that's not gonna. It won't matter. One of the hobgoblins gets to the top. Overwatch goes off. Everybody kind of peppers that person, and then we're probably going to see the hobgoblins leave if they can't do anything. But that may keep us from going down there. We have to take a rest first, and then see if they try to sneak up on us. Probably not, though. It'd be hard to climb up a rope secretly when we're right next to the edge of the end of the rope. All right, well, there's a chance we could all miss and doesn't get hit. He goes up first, so it is going to be Ott. We'll go initiative order. It's going to take a shot at them as they try to mantle. Is going to hit them. Yeah, that's 16 on the dot. Okay, takes 2 hands to climb. D8 plus 3. Takes 8 points of damage. So they have 3 hit points. This one's on top. Not that it's going to matter. I'm pretty sure we're going to kill this person. After Ott is Delg. Delg misses. Leah takes a shot. Leah's gonna hit. A little firebolt. Yeah, and Leah kills. So as this one mantles up, it just gets hit again. And also like tumbles over the edge and splats on the ground. So now there's 3 splatted bodies on the ground. We have the tomb robber leader and the hobgoblin leader, and now another hobgoblin. So I think these guys, I'm not even sure, it's not even a morale check anymore. The hobgoblins are smart enough and tactically minded enough to be like, look, we can't keep going up there. But as far as we know, they saw Ott, Delg, and Lee at the top. So as far as they know, they're on equal footing with the heroes. So I don't think that they're going to run. I mean, I'll give them a morale check. Again, they have advantage, though. Or technically disadvantage. Pass. 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 Alright. So they are staying in the fight. So they're going to just quiet down. They're going to sit here. They've got their bows. They're just going to have their bows trained on the edge. And they're just going to stay in Overwatch. For the time being, because they're on equal ground. They know that the people with the advantage aren't pressing it. They're actually sitting back on it. Which means they're taking a very defensive posture. So they're not going to engage with that. So our people at the top are going to Overwatch for a little bit. I think Delg is going to move over. He is going to use one of his turns to do Imbar's healing, I think. Yeah, Imbar's got plenty of hit points. So she is going to get a +9, a d6 +9 hit points back. Wow, 15. That's great. That's huge. It takes her up to 29. She's feeling pretty good. Yeah, and she hasn't given herself her thing yet. Her second one. She hasn't done that yet. I think that they hang out for a while. A few rounds go by. It's clear that nobody else is coming up the rope. And it doesn't seem like anybody's pressing the advantage. So we kind of get to a stalemate. And with the stalemate, I think they're going to, I dare say, they're going to try to rest. They know they have the advantageous position. They know that. You know what? We'll go ahead and we'll throw it down on Leah too. We're in for a penny, in for a pound. We've already used the healer kit a bunch this encounter, so we might as well get the extra healing out of it. So she gets +8 to that. 8, 9, 10, 11. Which will get her back up to full. So I dare say, in this situation, they are going to try to take a short rest. Even though that seems wild, there are, within striking distance, there are enemies. And the enemies are aware of them, but they're at such a stalemate, and I don't think the hobgoblins tactically know that they're in such a poor position that they can't push their advantage. So they know that. But without the rest, they can't go down. And at this point, it's not even about like going to get the tomb robbers loop. Like, that's fine. But it's more important that we can't leave these people, these hobgoblins who know about us, we can't let them skirt around and maybe try to ambush us in a different way, which they might. They might run around and do that. So we're just going to try to take a rest, see if they'll give us the full hour to do a short rest. So I'm going to roll the sort of... let's say... I guess it's just an oracle question. Man, I don't even know if it's an oracle question, because we're going to take the rest. It depends on what they do. They could either extricate themselves, they could sit here for an hour and just hold and see until somebody comes to the edge and then take their firing shots. They're pretty disciplined, so I think they can hold out. The three of them will hold out for that. I guess maybe that's it. We'll just morale saves for them to hold on that long, or if they leave. Again, they're going to have advantage, or technically disadvantage. Okay, one of them's good. One of them's going to bug out, though. That one may be the one that's going to go see if they can get more help. So it may be an order thing. So two of them are going into Overwatch. One of them's in the wind. So I'm going to roll a random encounter check with disadvantage. Again, we don't want to roll a 1. 1's very bad for us. It means an encounter. If we roll a 1, it means that these guys have snuck around and they've come up behind us. And they're going to get us on the ambush, and we're not going to get the short rest done. Okay. We completed the short rest. So, if they were going to press on us, they haven't done it yet. If that person went to get backup, that backup hasn't come yet. That we know about. Did we hear them move away? I don't know if they're trying to be stealthy or not. Let's assume they're trying to be stealthy. So give us a perception check. Do we hear them? No, we haven't. They have no idea what's going down on below them. All right. But we are able to do a short rest, which is good because we desperately need that. All right, so we're gonna get. Let's get these back. All right. So Leah, we're gonna get these heals back. That's fine. We're up the top. We do get to do. She will do her arcane recovery. She gets her half her level in slot, so she can get a second level back, which she will do. So she'll get her second level slot back as she does her arcane recovery. It'll spend some hit dice. She'll spend 2 hit dice. Okay. That's alright. That's perfectly average, kind of. Alright, so 12. She's gonna get 12 hit points back. Do you want to spend the extra hit die? Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Alright. She doesn't have anything else that goes off with it. She did technically fire more than one. Well, kind of No, we shouldn't consider this the same combat. I'm going to consider this the same combat. So I'm just going to roll the d6 for this combat for her arrows. So, she's lost quite a few arrows, which is not great for us. Definitely don't want running out of arrows. She is much better with a bow than she is with her spear. I mean, not much better, but she is better. Okay. Imbar. Imbar will spend a hit die. Use a d8 plus 2. For a minimum of 3. Yikes. That is not good. Okay. I mean, it's not bad. She's okay. I'm gonna take her back down to 29 because I think if we knew we were going to go into a short rest, she'd try to use her second wing because she knows she's going to get it back. She would do that. I would technically do that. Plus her level. Okay, so she gets 5 hit points back instead. Woo! Alright, well, what are you gonna do? And she will get that back. She didn't fire any arrows, so she's good. We don't have to check her arrows. Delg. Delg's already kind of out of hit dice is the problem. I think we gotta spend the hit dice, though. We gotta spend at least one. At least one. Come on. Okay. Well. It's, I mean, it's 1 plus 9. So that's not... no, sorry, that would be the healer kit. It's 1... That's 2. You get 2 hit points back. That was... we gotta use the last hit die. We can't have... The problem is that we can't risk Delg going down because he's our only healer. We have to heal Delg. You are killing me, dice. For another whopping 2 hit points. Awful. Absolutely awful. And we need to roll for his healer kit. How's his healer kit doing? Of course the healer kit goes down. Makes sense, we did a bunch of healing. We did a bunch of healing. We run out of that healer. Yeah, we're in a bad situation. It's real bad. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Alright, so they've done their short rest. What are we gonna do? Try to sneak up on the edge and get a look on somebody. That's an Ott thing. Ott's going to drop to prone and belly up to the edge and try to sneak up and then try to take a look because she doesn't know who's up there. So we'll give her the sneak roll first. They're pretty trained. I'm gonna give them +5 to their passive perception. And she doesn't really have an advantage. 10. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're gonna hit that, but we'll see what her bonus is. She does have expertise in stealth, so she does have a +7, so it's a 17. Are they gonna see her? What's her passive? I'm apparently blind. They don't have any skills, so even with the +5 for being focused, it's a 15, so they do not see her. Does she see them? She only needs to be a 12, we know that. Yeah, she's gonna beat that. Off the die. Alright, so she does go down there and she is able to clock them. And she kind of like scoots back, I guess. Tells them, hey, by the way, they're still down there, but I can see 2 of them. I can see 2 of them. I don't know if there are any more, but I see 2. They're like 2? I think we can press the advantage on 2. Now, there are dead bodies up here, too. So I think what we're going to try to do... this seems like... unfortunately, I think this is a Delg thing. No, Delg might be too weak for it. Is Delg strong enough... Before I reveal the strategy, is he strong enough to do the strategy? No. Okay. So Imbar's going to have to do that. That's okay, though. Be like, alright, here's the plan. We're going to get everybody... This is probably an Imbar plan anyways. Right? Here's what we do. Odd tells me that, yeah, they seem pretty focused. So I was surprised I was able to sneak up, but I was just able to catch... There's at least 2 of them. They do seem ready and prepared to fight. Alright. Imbar's like, okay, guys, here's what we're going to do. We are going to grab one of these bodies. She kind of looks around and is like, yeah, I'm the strongest person. I'm going to grab one, and even though I think she and Odd have the same strength. I'm going to grab one of these bodies, one of these dead bodies. We're going to move them up the edge. They'll take a shot at that, and then we can get the surprise on them instead. Okay, so I think that's gonna be set up. So Imbar is going to run up as soon as the hobgoblins release their volley, or they see the arrows hit, try to strike this dead body. They're gonna have their prepared action, which is going to be run up to the edge and shoot down on the hobgoblins. Because they're going to break they're still going to have cover, but they're going to break their concealment. So that's the plan. So Imbar grabs one of these dead bodies that is armored. They're guards, so they've got like a chain mail on, I think. Kind of hoists them up, and sort of waddles over to the edge. So she's going to have full cover, so +5, and they're going to have disadvantage on shooting him. But they're going to take a couple shots. Just to see if they accidentally wing her. It's highly unlikely. Yeah, no close. So she kind of pulls it up to the edge, and 2 arrows snap into that body, and then she releases the body, and everybody flushes to the edge and takes shots down on the hobgoblins. Did they remember to focus fire? Yes. Okay, cool. They're going to focus fire. We'll just go down the initiative from the top, so we'll let Leah go first. Leah's going to run up and attack one. They are going to have cover. They're going to have +2. They'll have full cover. That's 10. I think that's a 17 to hit. Sorry, no, technically she has advantage because they're shooting down. They have cover. Oh, that will certainly hit. And she's going to do 8 points of fire damage. So one of these guys, not looking good. This next initiative going to run up. So Leah runs up and does that. Imbar drops the body. That's what she does, and goes looking for her stuff. Ott ran up, and she will take a shot on the same hobgoblin. And is definitely going to plug that hobgoblin. I don't think there's any way she can't kill him. And she does kill him. Fires down and kills one hobgoblin. Oh, I forgot about her. we still technically have a hostage up here. But our hostage is not affiliated, as far as we know, with anybody else here. And has not called out. But we are going to have to check. Here's a question. As all this fighting is going on and everybody's rushed to the edge and taking care of this, is this guy trying to get away? I think that's extremely, well, not extremely, I think it's likely. Extremely likely, not extremely likely because he could run into worse things than them, but I think it is likely, so +3. Okay. So that guy's going to try to slip off, and he's going to make a stealth check. I'm even going to give him an advantage, just in case he rolls higher. Our hostage, Gimble's man, gone. We don't know where he went. We were too distracted by this fight. So any information we were going to get about Gimble, gone in the wind unless we come across them again. We're not that concerned in chasing it down, though. That was odd. Delg's going to take a sling. Even with advantage, he will miss. Alright, that's gonna... Where's that gonna place us in initiative? I guess Imbar went, and then everybody's reactions happened. So now it's technically the Hobgoblin's turn. Hobgoblins are outmatched. At this point, they're gonna make a morale check. They no longer have advantage. One of them's gonna run. One of them's gonna stay, though. So the injured one takes off. Oh, there is only the one. Sorry. And he does run. I forgot, we already killed one. So that guy goes. So one hobgoblin runs. So, here's a question. Are any of us going to get an opportunity to get a look at him before he leaves? Yes. Okay, so he's not going to make it out till the next round. He has 11 hit points. It's the guy that hasn't been hit yet. We got a full round to knock this guy to the ground. Starting with Ott. So Ott's going to run up and take 2 shots. Both with advantage. Going to hit with one. Not going to hit with the second one. Alright. Guy takes 8 points of damage. He has 9, 10, 11, 3 hit points left. Delg, take a sling. Delg's gonna hit. And do 1 point of damage, so he has 2 hit points left. That's back up to the top for Leah, who's gonna fire a bolt. Who will hit? Could technically roll a 1, doesn't roll a 1. And they take down the final hobgoblin as he tries to make a run. As Quiet falls back across, I think they're going to descend. We'll just do athletics checks because falling's real bad. Even though it really doesn't take a check to climb a rope, we do have some people who aren't great at it. I am going to reduce the DC because the DC 20 for climbing down the rope is spelunking a rope. It's going to be, that's insanely hard, and this is not that hard. It's pretty much a straight shot. I don't think this is a difficult climb. And I really don't want them to fall. That would be a silly way for them to take a whole bunch of damage. So you know what? Actually, I'm not even gonna make a check. What do you think? Okay, well they have the feather token, which does cast. So they descend. Right. Let's make they have advantage, and let's set a different DC. That DC's so high though. Yeah, that's a DC 12. They have DC 12 for advantage. And then, basically, if they end up failing it, then somebody will have to use the Featherfall token. Or take a bunch of damage. Leah passes. Hot passes. Imbar may pass with her. She does have athletics, so she only has +4. Which is only a 10, which is not great. Okay, so Imbar's gonna fail. Delk will pass. Alright, so we said up to 80 feet, right? So that's 16. Alright, I guess. This time, a D8 times 10 for how many feet they're gonna fall. Oh, they're only gonna fall 10 feet. I'm not using the feather token for that. Enjoy your 1d6 damage. Have 5 points of damage. Yeah. Not what I wanted, but Imbar does slip and kind of fall. Ow. It hurts herself. We do need to recharge some arrows. Not for Imbar, but for Ott. Roll those arrows. Okay, her arrows are fine. They're down at the bottom. They can now actually take a look at all these bodies. All the bodies are down here except for one guy who's missing. So one guy's in the wind. Or ran for reinforcements. Doesn't really matter. All it means is that our next random encounter roll is going to be a disadvantage. Because there's a likelihood that they brought somebody with us. And then if that passes, then we don't have to worry about it anymore. They ran. Then we know they ran away. They didn't run into anybody. Alright, that is where we are. We get down to the bottom. Everything looks secured. Everybody kind of looks around, nods. They're going to take the time, I guess, to roll these bodies. So who do we have down here? We have a Hobgoblin Iron Shadow. We have, what, 5 Hobgoblins. And the one other guy. So first thing I want to do is do some recharges. I'm going to roll the d4 to see. If I roll a 4, then we pick up some more arrows. Because these guys did have longbows. That's a no for Ott. For Imbar? Yes. And Imbar is going to give that to Ott. So Ott's back up to a d6 of arrows, because she's more likely to run out of arrows. And make better use of those arrows. So we want to keep her quiver full. Alright, so that did that. We need some rolls. Alright, so we let the... Oh yeah, so I did want to ask... so we're going to grab that dagger for Delg, which I talked about already. So let's make an oracle roll to see, will the Tomb Robber's studded leather fit Delg? I don't think it's likely. He's a dwarf. So, but, you know, maybe. A dwarf and human's torso aren't that different. So it's possible. There's a possibility for it. So I'm just going to ask, but I don't think it's likely, so -3. Can he wear that studded leather? He can! Nice! We will take the time to upgrade Delg's armor. Even though, because I think everybody else has... Actually, Ott only has... Well, we didn't check for Ott. We checked for Delg. So Delg, we're going to drop his leather armor. It's really not worth carrying back. And we're just going to upgrade it to studded. Because he can wear all light armor, so he's pretty much capped out now. But that does at least give him an AC of 12 instead of 11. So that 1 point, that's an extra 5% of failure. So we're good with that. And he's replacing the dagger. We already said that because we know that guy had a dagger. Alright, so we did that. Can Delg borrow Imbar's Warhammer? Question. Who's going to notice? I mean, Delg knows that he can use the hammer, so I think it is Delg. So I think Delg will just make a basic persuasion check, which he's not great at, to ask if he can borrow Imbar's hammer. For practical purposes, he talks about like, hey, look, you know, I only have the dagger or spear, but I'm actually much better with I can use like a warhammer if you want. And I could take one of these shields. Well, actually, I don't think he's trained in shields, right? I don't think he gets shields, just light armor. Yeah. So he can't use the shield, but he's like, I can use the warhammer one-handed and maybe stab him with a dagger in the other hand. He's pretty convincing. I mean, a 15, that might work. No. She's like, no thanks. Look, I appreciate your thought process here, but yeah, I think that's it. Actually, I think the other guy has scimitars, right? I mean, we could do that. Right? That guy had scimitars on him. We wanted to swap him to a scimitar and dagger situation. I think that might be in our best interest because the truth is, scimitar's not a simple weapon. Never mind. The only reason we could use Warhammer is because he's a dwarf. Alright, so that dialogue goes nowhere. The answer to that was no. No, thank you. Alright, so we need our treasure rolls for that. So we do know that the Tomb Robber's going to have advantage on it. I think it's just going to have, well, I'll give him a D3 roll. We already have advantage on it, but he is more likely to have, I think, stuff on him than somebody else. So D3. Okay, so he'll have two. We'll have 2 things on him. We'll do his last because he has more advantage. So it's going to be a very loot-heavy, apparently, episode, which is fine. It's nice to get the loot in. And I think we'll try to get to whatever our next spot's going to be, and then maybe that's where we'll try to end it. But I do want to get through the loot part. I know it's a loot-heavy kind of episode, but hey, we got some action in it at least. And then we are going to have to roll with our disadvantage to see if anybody stops us while we're looting these bodies. Alright, so let's do the hobgoblins. Boom. What are we going to get? 1. Pocket contents. I'm actually going to get the other page out. It turns the 2d6 table into a d66 table. Oh, some sort of weapon or shield. In addition to sort of like their normal gear. Which I think everybody's kind of full up on, right? These hobgoblins are wearing chainmail. Does anybody want the heavy armor? Now, Imba already picked up plate. So she's good. Ott, I don't think anybody else can wear it. That's the thing. Yeah, I guess, is it a weapon? No. Well, that would make it a piece of armor. Do we want to take the time to detect magic on it? Yeah, I guess so. I guess Leo will sit down and do detect magic on it. Is it magical? I don't think so. No. Okay. So it's probably just worth quite a bit. That's the only reason it's notable. So it's worth, yeah, it's worth some money. So it's a weapon, so it's got to be at least worth some gold, I think. It's going to be at least worth, I think it's got to be at least worth gold, right? So on 5 or 6, it's worth platinum. Okay, it's worth platinum. I lied. Yeah, okay. Alright, and it doesn't matter what kind of weapon. I would just, my instinct is sort of like a ceremonial dagger or something like that. Alright, but let's do that. Alright, so it's oh no, these are just the hobgoblins, right? Yeah. And I'll just put it down. 70G. Nice dagger that this person's looted. This clearly has probably not shared with the rest of people that they have picked up. Alright, our next roll. No. I screwed that up. Do I want to recon that? Yes, I do want to recon that. 13 is, let's finish this real quick. Trade goods. Alright, it is a D100 of gold. 20 gold's worth of the arms or armor or ammunition. I love that. So we're finding a lot of weapons on them. That's to be expected, I think. That's 20 gold's worth. Can we just fully... Will this fully restock? Well, we already restocked our arrows. I'm just going to roll a d6 for the weaponry on the other stuff. So these are like useful weapons and javelins and stuff, but not probably something we're actually going to use for combat. But that is going to be 3. What did I roll for 3? 20 gold and 18, so 21.8 G, and basically just weapons. I'm just going to do that, because really it wouldn't be jeweled. And we're just going to move that up a little bit. So that's what we find off the hobgoblins. First 2 hobgoblins. Next one. 7. Be another pocket contents. 55. Oh, it's just some pocket. We found a little stash of cash on them. In their boot. We find a whopping 12G. Not bad. Next one. 9. Trade goods. $1D20. 1D20 gold. How much gold? 7 gold's worth of textiles. Okay, so some sort of bolt of cloth. Alright. I'll just add it here. Just put cloth bolt. Yeah, like cloth bolt. That's it. It's gonna be something like rough, like it's gonna be like a burlap or something like that. A treated canvas, something. It's not gonna be obviously expensive stuff. And that was 4, right? Last one for the hobgoblins. Let's roll, let's roll. Here we go, here we go. We want high numbers. That's a good high number. That's an 18. Not a magic item, but it is currency. More high numbers, please. That's a low number. So 1d20 of silver. And just some extra cash. And this other guy living the scummy life. He has 1 silver piece on him. Okay. So yeah, we're interrogate the captive is not gonna be. Are the other tomb robbers dead. We won't know anything about that. So they might be dead. They might not be dead. Because I don't think we saw all of them, right? We only saw the captain, so we don't know where the others went. I kind of assumed that he's dead, right? I mean, right. And our bandit chief. So I'm going to give them advantage on these rolls. 14, so trade goods. Alright, 1d100's worth of... of course I rolled low on that. Ooh, a d100's worth of copper. Getting greedy. And, that one wasn't really getting better. Alright, some sort of art or decoration, but it's almost worthless. It's like tin plating. Yeah, it's 21 copper's worth of art. Okay. I just do it this way. You know that? 21 G's. So something that would only cost like 2 silver pieces market value. So it's gotta be like some sort of like, it's gotta be some sort of token that's got more sentimental value than monetary value. Some little token of something that somebody's given them. Not worth a lot. Yeah, we'll just say worth of art. And then, so that was kind of a bust for us. This is also probably going to be a bust for us because that is pocket contents. So we'll roll twice on the pocket contents and we'll see what we come up with. 25. A light source. Ooh. I mean, that thing's probably crushed all to hell. Or 62. A contract. We already have one contract we can't figure out, so let's go with light source. That's a good check. We should probably check our lantern oil. We did take a rest, huh? How's our lantern oil doing? Actually, our lantern oil went down to a D4, right? Yeah, that went fine. I'll give us a recharge. Can we recharge that? Actually, it's just treasure, so maybe we just take it instead of rolling it. I thought better of that as I was rolling it. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that we find some oil. Or I'm pretty sure we have a lantern. Somebody's got it. Who has the lantern? Did I put it in the inventory? I did not. We do have a lantern, though. I know that for certain. So we've been using it. I don't know why it's not on here. Oh, it's under the Explorer's Pack. Well, Explorer's Pack should have torches. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to keep this as a D4. But I am going to say we have a lantern because for whatever reason I don't have it on here. I'm going to say a nice bullet lantern. You know, you treat yourself. We didn't really get a lot for anything else. So we get a dented bullet lantern. But we do get that. And at this point we will take on the Ring of Mind Shielding. I feel like I've been dealing with those a lot lately, the Ring of Mind Shielding in particular, in a different campaign, but for the life of me, I can't While wearing the ring, you are immune to magic that allows other creatures to read your thoughts, determine whether you are lying, know your alignment, or know your creature type. Creatures can telepathically communicate with you only if you allow it. You can use an action to cause the ring to become invisible. If you die while wearing the ring, your soul enters it unless it already houses a soul. You can remain in the ring or depart for the afterlife. As long as your soul is in the ring, you can telepathically communicate with any creature wearing it. A creature can't prevent this telepathic communication. Right. Well, we know that our psychic vampire is not in the ring, so we don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I mean, it's a weird ring. I think the reason I have trouble sort of remembering it is that there's not a lot of mechanic stuff that kind of goes on. There's not a lot of like role mechanics that go on with this. It's just like you're immune to creatures reading your thoughts, but you just have to remember that. And whether you're lying, know your alignment or anything like that. So you can wear Ring of Mind Shielding, as far as I know, in a Zone of Truth and not be bound by the Zone of Truth. But it also is weirdly worded as to like determine whether you are lying, so they can't insight check a deception check, which is weird. So you treat it as like just a failed persuasion check. I guess if you fail a deception check, you're on it, you seem honest in what you're saying, but that you still don't convince them of something, which is wild to think about. So, right, you could just say some egregious lie that's really stupid, like, actually, I'm the king of this kingdom. And people are like, oh, no, I guess they have a claim to the throne. Interesting. So just being like, no, that's clearly not true. Alright, well, Leah put that on. I guess. I don't know if it's going to help us a lot, but hey, it's a magic item and we have it. Alright, so we did our treasure rolls. Tomb Robber gave us a whole lot of nothing. It was really not worth coming down here. I mean, we got the studded leather, I guess. That's something. That was the big thing we wanted to see. So the answer to this question was yes. It will fit him. We did stake or burn that. Our hostage slunk away in battle. We made everything we could. We did take some time to look stuff over though, so we do need to make a check. With disadvantage. Okay, we did not do that. This disadvantage goes away. Don't have to worry about that anymore. So, we're left to our own devices down here. We're going to have a look around. Is there... I think this is more of an oracle roll, because I don't know where we fell into... Actually, that's more of an investigation roll. So, we know that the room that we were in, which was sort of like the funeral supply, like body preparation area next to the mausoleum. That's what that room was, and then that room collapsed down and fell 80 feet further deeper into the ground. Problem is like, we need to figure out, was this actually a chamber? And that feels like an investigation check, and I'll let Leah lead it. But she does have other people helping her. That's a pretty good roll. I'm still just going to use the previous room's DC of 20. So that's 20 plus, and she hits it smack on. She had to roll a 15. So she hits it right on. So, successful investigation. Was this an existing chamber we fell into? Question mark? Yes. Alright, how do we go even further beyond with that answer? What kind of edge does that give us? I don't even know. I don't even know what the extra yes on that would be. Some sort of bonus that we get out of that. I'm trying to think of what would make sense. Let's see. What sort of edge might we get? Yeah, let's just roll an edge, see if it gives us anything. 2. Oh, a new plot thread. Interesting. So we determined that this is a chamber. What kind of chamber is it? Let's roll 2d20. It's going to give us some sort of new plot thread. Maybe something to do with those hobgoblins. 12 and a 15. So 12 is a magic area. And 15 is a religious area. So some sort of like a magical religious area. So it's some sort of, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Some sort of sanctified ground. Is this some sort of, so... Let's maybe do some dressing. Like, what's... No, dressing... I do want to do dressing, but I want to do... dressing from the Game Mastery Guide, which I have... I looked up there at the book, but I do actually have it in my DM's binder. I just don't use it very often. But it has more, like, specific features for a room, like furniture and stuff. So let's roll a D100. It's a D100 table. And I'll pick whatever makes sense, or we'll re-roll it. A pool. Okay. So it's some sort of like sacred pool. Cool, cool. I think we did say that Leah was going to cast detect magic as a ritual, right? Earlier. Did we do that? Man, I swear today. Mine's bouncing all over the place. I think we decided no, right? So let me double check. So there is this sort of pristine pool that is in here. And Legrocket is sort of like a religious and magical. Leah is trained in one of those things, but I don't believe both of them. Nope, she is trained. Actually, she is trained in both of them. Okay, so I'm going to give her advantage on the roll to like figure out, can she, by sort of ciphering the runes on this pool and looking into it and the iconography around it, can she determine what this is? Yes. She is most certainly going to hit that DC. The 17 on the die. Okay. Ooh. So she can determine it. We just don't know what the heck that thing could be. It's going to be some sort of new plot thread. So it's some sort of sacred pool, I think. I'm going to roll a prompt from our Solo Dark. So the Shadow Dark tables, I'm pretty sure you can get these for free. I think there's a download package. Maybe you have to pay for money for it. I don't remember. But Shadow Dark, very fun. If you're looking for an OSR feeling game that's got closer to 5e mechanics, it's a good one to check out. It is quite interesting. 40. Avoid freedom. So is this some sort of like compulsion pool? Is that what this is? Can we determine is this some sort of like mind control or compulsion pool? Yes, very much that. So even further beyond, it must cast something like really high. Like, does it cast Geas? Highly likely, yeah. Hey, yeah. Even with the +5, that's gonna be 11. Now, is the Geas effect permanently set, or can we? I guess I just need to roll for more information. We rolled pretty well though, so I just need to know. So we just need to ask questions. Can we determine what the Geas prompt is? No, not really. Its duration? No, don't know that either. Is it good or bad? Neutral? And let's ask it. Is it good? I don't think that's likely. It's still 11, so it's still technically yes. And we are probably going to have an interrupt here, because I've run a bunch of very close 10s and 11s. So it is technically good. A good effect. So we can. Is it lawful? Let's say that. No. So it's some sort of chaotic good effect. So we know that, alright. So we have no idea exactly what the pool does. This would be a good one if we had that hostage. We can throw our hostage in there and figure out what it does. But, yeah, we can't decipher it. So it's old magic. And it's religious magic, which we don't know too much about. So it is something weirdly religious, so who knows? Who knows what that could mean for this oasis when it is an old arcane research facility, so who knows what this thing does or who made it. I guess that's true. Can we determine some sort of origin type, like who built this temple or who built this pool or enchanted it? Yes. Okay. Let's roll a d6. Ooh, something natural. Interesting. Can we decipher any further than that? No. Okay, so some sort of natural thing. So I'm looking up here because I'm looking at the list. It was created by some sort of natural creature. So that could be a couple different things, but we can't cycle it down any more than origin. Oh, I guess. So let me ask a very specific one. Is it a dragon? Because remember that Leah is specifically... Well, is it a dragon or elemental? I think we can rule either one of those two out. Because of her background specifically as research dealing with the primordial origins of dragons, which kind of gives her specific expertise in dragon affairs and sort of primordial elemental kind of affairs. So, is it dragon in nature? No. Is it elemental in nature? No. Okay, so it's something else. By some, so now we can at least narrow it down a little. Maybe that has something to do with the contract, maybe it doesn't. Who knows at this point? This probably just will end up being one of those weird things that you find in a dungeon and you're just like, okay, I guess. But we know it's chaotic good is the origin, but we don't know kind of anything else other than that. Alright, so what are we gonna do? We spend some time down here. We do know that there's gonna be an interrupt scene. But I do want to ask at this point, are there exits out of this room? Since this was not the way to get in here, probably. I say +3. No, okay. So if there are exits, then they have been completely collapsed in, and it's very easy for us to look at, like, if there were exits, which there probably were, or this entire place was walled up. We don't know either way. There's so much rubble and so much collapse has happened in those 80 feet that it's impossible to exit the room. So we're kind of at a dead end. So we're going to have to climb back up the rope. So here's what I'm going to ask. As we're climbing back up the rope, now that's when I'm going to roll for our interrupt. Okay, no interrupt happens. So we get back up to the top. And no small measure. Then we're going to start backtracking. And as we backtrack, it's more likely that we're going to run into something. And I'm just going to update my little map. So that's the collapsed gas pool room, which had no outlets. So we climb back up to 8 into our collapsed room, and I guess we head back to the mausoleum because that was the only exit out of this room. As we backtrack, we've got to make checks, because every time we backtrack, there's a chance we're going to run into somebody. We don't run into anybody. Okay. Now remember, the mausoleum actually has a trapdoor in the ceiling and a way out, which we have not explored. Nor has anything actually come to get us. So that gives us maybe the idea that there's not something in there. But that would be a very, very silly assumption to make, I feel like, especially because I know that I'm going to be rolling for it. But here you go. We're going to leave it up there to the top. Now, does anybody have thieves' tools? I always forget this. I don't think. Oh, Ott does technically have thieves' tools. So we're going to let Ott make Ott scramble up the, I assume. I mean, we'll ask, like, is there a ladder? I highly assume there's a ladder. +5. Yeah, there's absolutely a ladder. Goes up to the trapdoor and takes a look at the trapdoor. She's going to make an investigation check to see if it is trapped. Okay, it's not trapped. Or at least she doesn't think it's trapped. Let's put it that way. So she goes to check for it's locked. So now we just got to figure out, like, is it trapped? I don't think it's trapped. No. Is it locked? No. So she grabs and pushes up the trapdoor a little bit. We'll give her a little stealth check. We'll figure that out. We'll figure it out. She's got to make a perception check first to see what's in the room. We're just not going to roll well, apparently. So that is very low. I guess we'll roll the room DC at this point. The room DC is also low, though. So that's the good news. That's a DC of 7, so we actually beat the DC. Alright, well, let's get down to it, I guess. So what do we see as we sort of pull this open? What is our size? What's the size of our room? Alright, so it's a small room. What is... What did I roll? A 15, right? 15, 17. What is actually in the room? Alright, so 15 is a religious area, right? And 17 is storage. So some sort of religious storage area. Oh, cool. Like it's like a little attic thing. Maybe. Alright, so it's another sort of religious storeroom. So she pops it open, and I think at this point, I mean, she did pass her DC check, so we will say she's gonna see what's in it. So what's in here? 56. And that's actually a hot creature, and actually there's a treasure in here. Alright, likelihood that it's going to be an obstacle or a trick or trap. Let's get our theme. Our theme is a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 gnolls. Okay. Some gnolls. And then let's just roll for our condition, right? Pristine. Okay, so it's gonna be some sort of trap or trick. Let's get some dungeon dressing, and then we'll be about good. So I rolled a 1 and a 19. Some sort of evidence of occupancy or passage. I mean, obviously the gnolls have been in here. And 19, so a junk pile. So it looks like a... So I'm just gonna say that it looks like the gnolls have tossed the room pile of junk in the center of the room. Pile of junk in the room. They look like they've tossed it. Like it's very easy because Ox the one's up there. So. And she can smell gnoll. And it smells probably pretty strong. Is that the creature that's in here? I mean, is it gnolls that are in here? That's highly likely. Yeah, it's gnolls that are in here. So she pops up, and there are going to be gnolls in here. So let's get a gnoll encounter going. A flesh gnar and some more gnolls. I mean that tracks. All right, so yeah, she kind of pops her head up in the trapdoor. She was not very stealthy, though. Do they see her? Question mark. I think it's highly likely. She's coming up through a door in the middle of the room. They're tossing this place. I think this is extremely likely. Do they see her? They do. Actually, yeah. 13. Yes, they do see her. So she passes up, starts sniffing, and then like one of the gnolls that most of them clearly must have been behind the trapdoor walks in front of her like, hey, wait a second. I think grabs the trapdoor that she's holding open and flings it open. And that's probably gonna be initiative for us. But I think we're gonna leave that for next time. But let's figure out who's gonna be in the room and what's gonna be open. So we're gonna throw open. There's gonna be some sort of trap in here too. We gotta figure that out. So there are gnolls. And a trap. So who is the trap set by? That's gonna be the big important question. 2. Okay, so there's some sort of ancient device. Let's figure that out real quick. What type of trap are we dealing with? Well, D12 for us. Oh, it's an alarm. What's the trigger on this? Incorrect interaction. So here's the question. Did I set off the trap by opening the trapdoor? I did not roll well on that perception. Even with the +3 bonus, that's the answer for that is no. Okay. So it must be something else. Some sort of other interaction. Maybe there's like a giant... Whatever that treasure is in, that's going to be where the alarm is. So there's going to be a treasure chest. That's the thing that they haven't opened with. Their lead null has told them not to open it. Let's say that's... So that makes me think that it must be... Must be a pretty good thing. Must be a pretty nice item in there. So maybe we'll roll with advantage on that. That kind of makes sense if we're going to put a trap behind it. Maybe not. It might just be an important religious item. So maybe we don't. No, let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do it. Why not? Alright, so next time we're going to do to find... So in the storage area above the mausoleum. And I'm going to say odd. Odd opened. Open the trapdoor in the nose area above the mausoleum. There is a... Let's say, religious treasure. You know what? I'm just going to say that it is a... I think we'll get this thing. But I'm just going to say, is I know that in here, one of the things that I have in here are religious items. So I'm just going to say it's a trade good. Just some sort of alarm, spell, or notification that's set on it. And we'll roll for treasure when we roll for treasure. If we... end up beating this encounter. Alright, so we open up the trapdoor, we're going to find the gnolls. We're going to find out how many gnolls are we actually going to face. And we can go ahead and... I'll go ahead and look up their hit points while we're here, and then we'll cut it off there, because that's where we're going to end it, is as we're basically going to roll initiative. That's going to be where we're going to pick up next time. Also 22 hit points. That makes things easy. Alright, so how many flesh gnawers are there? So there's a chance of 1 or 2. High means there's 2. Low means there's 1. Of course there's 2. And there's there's up to 4. There's 3. Okay. So not the full max, but I mean it's still going to be a tough fight. And we're in a closed area. And there's a ladder in between us. It's going to be a weird fight. It's going to be another weird sort of vertically distant because of the trapdoor. And us just kind of flouncing into it. But they weren't expecting us apparently, so that's nice. They must have just gotten in here, I guess. So there's going to be 2 flesh gnawers, and there are 3 gnolls. And these guys are going to go on what initiative? Alright, they have a +1 in their initiative. They have a +2. We'll use the +2. So that keeps us easy. DC 12. Let's go ahead and roll initiative. We'll just make it super easy. We're right here, and then we're going to end it. We got to be a 12. Leah. Nope. 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 Wow, guys. That is awful. Okay. They very much got the drop on us, so it's gonna go Ott, Inbar, Leah, Delg. Okay, well, well, crap. Ott, I'm gonna say it. Let's say on the trapdoor stairs. And everybody else is in the room above. The rest of our friends are down at the bottom. Fantastic. So that's where we're going to pick up next time. We're going to get straight into that combat, straight into that fight. That'll be interesting. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully everything goes alright, but it's going to be a weird fight. You know, not a ton of action in this one. A little bit of action that combat kind of petered out on us, but that's okay. We got a lot of loot, which is something we desperately needed. We also got another short rest in, which we also desperately needed. And we're getting further into the dungeon, which is good. So we've pulled up a dead end. We're getting out of there. We got into our area that's above the mausoleum, so we got into 9, which is our storage room. That's where we'll pick up next time when we do this. Thanks for hanging out with me. Always fun. Hope you guys are enjoying this. Sure, if you have any questions about the system or anything like that, we have videos that kind of go over some of the oracle rolls and how we do the exploration, even though we're doing a dungeon dive. So we have a video about the improvised dungeon stuff. If you want to see how we kind of roll that up and see how it works, you can check out that video. I think that's it for me. If you want to support us, always sharing is the best thing. Liking, subscribing, all that stuff. You know how to do that. Share it on social media, Reddit, your favorite TTRPG forum, D&D Beyond, Ian World, wherever. That helps a lot, not having to rely on Google's algorithm to get videos in front of people. But thanks for hanging out with me, guys. That's going to be it for me. And I'll see you guys next time. Alright? Bye.